It is October, which means we must speak with Paul Sankey, founder and lead analyst at Sankey Research, who's ignoring this conversation. Paul Sankey has decades of experience in oil and knows in October there is Vienna, and there's also Park Lane, a string of hotels in London where the elite meet to greet in the oil community, as they do beginning today. It is the energy executive of the year is from Qatar. We'll pass on that, but far more CEOs together and the rest. Paul, is a consensus opinion that oil will rise back into the hundreds?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the first consensus is that we'll get a 1 million barrel a day cut from OPEC tomorrow, and what people here are saying will be a brief meeting. I was told that the decision's already taken. I was actually hoping that they would take some time and argue a bit so I'd get a chance to get out to Vienna towards the end of the week, but evidently the decision will come tomorrow. That should be, I think, a 1 million barrel a day cut. We got about half of that probably Tom actually delivered, but it's still enough to tighten what's effectively a market imbalance in Q4. So any cut will effectively serve to raise prices.
The elite meet to greet at the Intercontinental Hotel or at the Dorchester with umbrellas in their drink, but is it just about Saudi Arabia and Russia?
Well, I have to say I've got to wear a black tie tonight for the award dinner, Tom. I need your help with the bow tie there, but. Yeah, no, I mean, we had the CEO of Aramco talking very eloquently. Ben Van Beurden of Shell also very eloquent. We had protesters outside the Intercontinental yelling in my ear as I walked in. But the problem is the protesters don't really have a coherent solution. In fact, nobody does, and that's one of the issues. A couple of interesting points from Shell, for instance. He said that this quarter alone, China is adding more coal production than in the entirety of Shell's energy production. So essentially in one quarter, China grows coal by the entire size of Shell. And again, talking about the CEO of Aramco, again, talking about lack of spare capacity and how demand is remaining strong. Well, so again, further to your first question, it's all pointing towards higher prices, basically.
And that's really the crux of the matter. How much is this potential cut of 1 million barrels really an issue of a lack of capacity rather than the appearance of lack of demand? And how much pushback will OPEC Plus get from the United States, from Europe, saying, we need lower prices at this point to stave off a crisis? Why are you effectively causing an increase in prices or potentially laying the groundwork for that going forward?
Well, Lucy, you made a great point, which I'll come back to. But firstly, I think the Saudis have enjoyed $100 oil and, would rather we were closer to 100 than to 80. So that's point one. Point two that you made is that they're so tight on spare capacity that they may well feel that, to rest their fields a bit, to give themselves some more breathing room, a cut is a good thing. The outside chance was that there'd be a major quota renegotiation, but it doesn't sound like that's happening. These guys are still using 2018 quotas, which are just completely nonsensical now in terms of things like Nigeria and Angola, just not even close to their quotas. But I don't think there's going to be that kind of agreement. I think it'll be a pretty strong cut decision led by Saudi, UAE.
15-minute meeting?
Of course, we've got the other interests. We've got Russia. 15
minutes or more for this meeting?
More than 15, I think. Those ones were just rubber stamps, but it may be. I think. Well, I was hoping it would take longer than a day and roll into Thursday, Friday. It sounds like we'll get a decision tomorrow, and before the markets in the US tomorrow. Yeah, could be.
There we go. Paul Sankey, thank you, sir. Good to see you. Paul Sankey there of Sankey Research.